Good evening, everyone, and welcome to day 10 of Channels Television's elections coverage here in our election studios. With every passing day, we get closer to February the 23rd, the new date for the rescheduled presidential and National Assembly elections. And of course, here at Channels Television, we're keeping a close eye on all the activities leading up to that day, and of course, until a winner is announced. We have our eye on the umpire, who has been given daily briefings. So today on the show, we look at how far INEC has gone with preparations and logistics for a large number of Nigerians who are vulnerable, talking about internally displaced persons, the physically challenged, and of course, female participation. I'm Ladi Akiridoluale. Welcome.
And I'm Ijoma Onyato. Welcome. Well, by tomorrow, it'll be election eve, and we would like you to keep a close eye on what's happening in your vicinity. So participation is the name of the game. And here at Channels Television, we have a number of ways you can do that. So if you have a PVC, just like I have my PVC, and we've been doing this, and of course, we've been getting responses as well. So hold it up. He's supposed to be holding up my hand. The next person is holding up his PVC. Take a picture with it, and then send it to #TheVerdict, or #2019 elections. Of course, don't forget to include your name and as well as your location. Now, you can also send a short video to #PollStream. And when you're sending your short video, we'd like you to answer this question as you respond in your video. So, if you traveled to vote in the election last week, will you travel again now that it has been rescheduled? Send your response to #PollStream on Twitter, Instagram, and of course on Facebook as well. And then the last thing you can do to participate, or an additional thing you can do to participate, is you can be one of Channels Television Citizens Journalists. So if you see something, send it to us by dialing 01-440-6465. And our web team is ready and waiting, and we'll grab all that content that you're sending into us throughout election season. Ladi.
Indeed, it's promising to be a more engaging process this time around. Today, again, the INEC chairman briefed, and there have been a number of positive developments from yesterday to today. The developments should continue all through the night, from what he told us.
And the session was longer this time, I mean, the Q&A.
Oh, definitely.
Yes.
Of course, as we get closer, more and more questions are being asked about various things which may or may not have direct bearing on the logistics of the election. For example, the issue of extension of visas for foreign observers, and the fact that the Immigration Service has agreed to open up a desk inside INEC for those observers to come and extend their visas at no cost.
And of course, also, when he was giving the PVC collection figure,
oh,
I mean, we've been
I was waiting for
Yes.
you to come up with that. Because as he was saying it, I said, finally,
Yes.
Ijoma and Biodun, I believe, Biodun Ajijola will finally rest. These figures are finally out. And surprisingly, for all the hoopla that generated, and it turns out that 86%
have collected their PVCs.
Collected their PVCs. So,
and then you even gave an explanation for the number that haven't, talking about registration a couple of years ago and all that, and also tying that into register early.
That's right.
And so you can get your PVC earlier, even though that's not an excuse. But
there are so many. There's so many good things that seem to have happened. Of course, people raise the issue of parcels still being found, election materials for particular states still being found in other states. And he said, look, we have said this could happen. This is a big country. There are so many things moving at the same time.
And it's good he talked about the CBN retrieving them
them and returning them to the states in question. And the emphasis continues to be on the fact that except the ballot paper is stamped on election day by the presiding officer in the particular polling unit that it was meant for, that a ballot is invalid.
And it was a good reply to our guest yesterday. I was talking about protection of election materials.
That's right.
He reeled out all the different measures
that they put in place,
including a secret code, which only
he and
the
printers know.
Yes, so
that was something new.
Knowledge.
That was something he revealed only today. There's quite a bit. Of course, there were those who mentioned the fact that according to some of the laws of the country, the police is supposed to be the lead security agency.
Exactly.
Talking about the role of the Nigerian army.
And how they will only interfere
if there is, and so on. And he said, yes, indeed, the police is the lead security agent for the elections, and that they are working with the police. but they're also working with the other security agencies.
I think the daily briefings are great because at least you get answers to all the questions that we've been asking on the program and outside the program as well.
And quite a lot of what is filtering onto the various media platforms, particularly social media, get addressed almost immediately before they have time to gain a lot of currency. For example, the whole issue of having so many vehicles burnt in some offices in some states. He said he's not aware of that. He doesn't know anything
what he said
about
was that there were vehicles that the transport union had loaned the
Yes, that it was not commissioned vehicles.
Yes.
And of course, I think in that particular instance, he was also referring to the incident in Akwa Ibom, which of course was widely reported in the media. And then of course, he also talked about, again, Rivers and Zamfara states, as to whether or not there will be elections in those states, and if so, who will be participating. He said INEC will continue to stick by judgments of the court, particularly if those judgments come from courts of superior jurisdiction. In this case, he mentioned the Supreme Court.
Okay, well, let me go directly to what we have on that so that we can take the full thing now. Of course, we've been talking about day 4 of INEC's briefings, and also he talked about, like Ladi and I have been saying here, is that candidates will not be fielded for the Rivers and the Zamfara state election.
19 states have fully deployed. By the end of the day, all states and FCT would have deployed except Bayelsa State, which is moving direct from our state office in Yenagoa to the registration area centers tomorrow. Tomorrow, activities at the ward level will commence with the activation of the registration area centers at 9 in the morning, while the movement of personnel and materials will commence at midday. This is the last staging post before deployment to the 119,973 polling units, leading to the opening of polls at 8 in the morning on Saturday. We once again profoundly appreciate the continuous understanding and words of encouragement from all stakeholders. The Commission has operated on the policy that no citizen can vote without the PVC issued by the Commission and read by the smart card reader. Having announced the total number of registered voters and their distribution by age, gender, and occupation, citizens deserve the right to know how many PVCs have been collected across the country. The last date for the collection of PVCs was Monday, 11th February 2019. Out of 84,004,084 registered voters, the total number of PVCs collected stands at 72,775,585, which represents 86.3% of the total PVCs produced. Detailed breakdown and percentages of collection on state-by-state basis has been published on our website. A total of 11,228,582 PVCs, representing 13.7%, are uncollected. Out of this figure, 7,817,905 PVCs were carried over from the 2014 to 2016 registration exercises, while 3,410,677 are from the last continuous voter registration exercise held between April 2017 and August 2018. All the uncollected cards have been deposited with the various branches of the Central Bank of Nigeria across the states of the Federation for custody. The Commission will take custody once more of the PVCs after the election and to make them available for collection by citizens.
INEC chairman there, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, on day 4 of the briefings that INEC has been giving since the rescheduled polls. Now, a lot has been happening today and, of course, in the course of these elections. Let's just go to a different story now, where the Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, has denied social media reports that he has resigned as Nigeria's Vice President, and he says the story is fake news. The Vice President said on his Twitter handle that he remains committed to the service of the Nigerian people under the leadership of President Muhammadu Buhari. The tweet says, quote, "Misleading fake news is on the rise, especially in this season when Nigerians will make a choice about who will govern them for the next 4 years. I have not resigned. I remain committed to the service of the Nigerian people under the leadership of President Muhammadu Buhari," end of quote. The Vice President also asked Nigerians not to believe such stories being peddled. And we also want to tell you that a group of All Progressives Congress loyalists in Niger State have staged a 1 million-man walk in support of President Muhammadu Buhari's re-election bid on Saturday. The loyalists, who are from the Buhari support group, say their 1 million-person march also includes canvassing support for the re-election of the state governor, Abubakar Bello. The group says the president deserves to be re-elected because he has done so much in the area of infrastructure development, security, and the fight against corruption.